right. Today's Saturday, March 6th. And we are in the port of Villefranche, which is right next door to Nice. Our plan today is to visit the Rothschild Mansion and then go to a fort up on the mountain that overlooks Nice, and then spend some time at the beach in Nice and a little bit in the old town. So this is the view from our balcony on the ship as we arrived. And here we are on the tender. Villefranche is a tender port. There's not a dock big enough for a cruise ship. So we got on our tenders and headed into the port. It seems to me that Nice is a much more livable town on the French Riviera than Cannes was yesterday. Seemed like Cannes was kind of a town without a soul. It was all about being seen there and who was there with all the pictures of all the movie stars and stuff, whereas Nice seems like a much more livable place. Although there were quite a number of nice yachts there again today. So Nice is actually right behind that port that you see right there, that little mountain. On the other side of that is the city of Nice. But once we got ashore, we had to wait a few minutes for our tour to start, so we sat on the waterfront and just looked at it. It was so pleasant. Temperature was perfect, light wind, not too much humidity, and you can look at all those nice yachts out there. So this is our first stop at the Rothschild Mansion, and this Rothschild lady was she inherited something like the equivalent of $700 million from the Rothschild family fortune. And if you've ever been to Hearst Castle in Southern California, this place is like a miniature Hearst Castle. It was built in 1904, and she was born mid 1800s. She actually died in 1935, sorry. And in 1934, she deeded the mansion to the Art Society of Nice, and they maintain it now as a tourist attraction. She traveled extensively around the world, and she brought back many of the designs for both the house and the gardens from her extensive travels that were kind of revolutionary in 1904 when she had this place built. She had another house in Monaco that was her primary residence, and so this was, as a guide described it, her party house. And she flattened this hilltop so that she could get the right views from all the windows, the various windows in the house. So I'm just going to let you go through the walkthrough of the house here that's sped up 2 times, and try and describe things as I see them. There's a restaurant here that you're seeing here. It's still open at the mansion, so you can go and have a meal there. This looks like a small dining room. Through this small door into the bedroom area. So there's dressing rooms in here and wardrobe. There's the actual bedroom. She was much younger than her husband. I mean, she got married when she was about 19. It was not a happy marriage. There were no children. Guide said that her husband gave her some disease. She was in bed for like 14 months trying to get over. Anyway, she had multiple architects working on this house, like 8 of them or something. And oftentimes she'd come back from one of her trips and say, no, this isn't right. You got to redo it. So it had a number of iterations. Looks like a living room here, a salon. This was a place where you could bring the plants in the wintertime. It had gravel on the floor, so you could still water them. I'll finish the downstairs first before we go visit the upstairs. The upstairs has an amazing view of the gardens. And then later on, we're going to actually go on a tour of part of the gardens. All right, so we'll go upstairs and check out the view from the patio upstairs. Looks like a guest bedroom here. There's a guest sitting room coming up here. Right there. All right, here's the fantastic view of the gardens. This property is shaped like a ship, so you're looking down towards the front of the ship where you'll come to a point way out there in the end of the garden. She had 40 gardeners that maintained this while she lived here. There's only 6 of them left that maintain what you see here. So once we're done walking around the house, we're going to go out and take a look at some of the garden. There were 9 separate garden areas that were themed after various places in the world. More guest bedrooms here. This hallway surrounded the central area downstairs and the dome ceiling. And this is the view from the stairs as you go down. So you're looking out at the bay out there. All right, so let's take a look at the gardens. Lots of water features. Looks like a miniature Bellagio fountain display from Las Vegas. Maybe that's where they got the idea of it. I don't know. I think it repeats every 20 minutes or something in this garden. I think she probably spent as much on this garden as she did on the house. As I mentioned, there's different themes for the various areas of the garden. There's a Spanish garden and a Japanese garden. And she brought these ideas back from her many world travels. She's a really traveled person. And so she came back, she would bring these ideas back and implement them here at the property. Our guide told us that co-founder of Microsoft. Bill Gates' partner has a property a stone's throw from this one. I guess it's a pretty exclusive neighborhood. Anyway, here's some of the views from the garden walkways. That's looking back towards Villefranche Port. You can see Serenade out there in the harbor on the left side, and lots of sailboats and other yachts moored out there. And you could get used to this view. This is the Spanish Garden section. I didn't have enough time to provide all of the garden settings in this video, otherwise it would have been too long, but this is the Spanish section. All right, now we're up on top of the fort, on top of the hill that overlooks Nice. It's quite a hike to get up here, and it used to be a castle that was really defensible. I think anybody that came in the harbor would have said, I don't want to go all the way up there to fight you guys. Probably left them alone. All right, so now we're at the beach in Nice, and we were here 25 years ago with our kids, and we all went parasailing. This beach is rocks, it's gravel, stones. There's no sand here at all, and it's a beautiful beach though, and it was a Saturday, so lots of people out. And if you right behind us is Old Town Nice, which I'm going to show you in just a minute what the view is from here looking back towards the Old Town. But that's pretty much our day. It's a beautiful place. There, that's Old Town, those buildings you can see back there. So tomorrow we're headed for Provence or Toulon, France. So stay tuned for another video tomorrow.